Hi there. So there's one person in here thus far. Oh, it's Kira. Hey, how are you, Kira? Well, while it's just me and you, oh, there's somebody else. Oh, good, good. We're just gonna hang out a minute, see if anybody's interested in this info. There's a few. Hey, Stivers. So, Kira, how's your trip been so far? You having fun with family? Yes, tacos for life is going everywhere. You're exhausted. Girl, me too. We've been working in the garden all day. I don't know if you saw my Facebook post or not, but literally, we went to church this morning, got home, and I've been in the garden all day. Stivers, how about y'all? Anything going on in y'all's world today? I got a little sunburnt too. Hi, Whitney. Welcome. How are you? Can everybody see me okay? Is there a glare or can you hear me okay? Thanks, Kira. I noticed on some of my other live streams I did that there's a glare on my glasses, but without them, I can't see a thing about what y'all are typing. So we're just gonna have to deal with it, I reckon. Hey, how are you? From Portland. I didn't realize you were from Portland. I guess I did. I looked at your stuff and I just had forgotten that. All right, Whitney, be safe. We'll see you back in a minute. Yeah, and my yeah, I agree, Kara. And my vision is bad enough that I need them to see what's typing, but they're not bad enough that they're like super duper or really bad enough to really invest in contacts. I just feel like that'd be silly. I don't know. I'm probably just being a big baby. I don't want to have contacts. I probably should get them. Yep, that's how I feel the same way. So we've got a few more people joining on. Before we jump into kind of the recommendations that are out there, we're just kind of let some more folks come into the room. I'd mentioned at my live stream on Tuesday, if you were able to tune in for that, that I was hoping to have a special guest here tonight. And it was going to be Kira from that Everyday Kira. She's here in town, but we just couldn't work out the schedules to get her over here. Well, that's okay, but she's one of the mods. So go show her some love. That Everyday Kira and the Stivers are on. They're one of my mods. Go give them some love if you haven't subscribed to their channels as well. But Kira did help develop this list, and so she's going to be jumping in there and throwing out comments. And any of you, if you live in the area and you have suggestions, hey, feel free to jump in because I am in no way, shape, or form endorsing any of these businesses or working with any of these businesses. We just want you guys that are coming from out of town to the Shindig to have a good time. And I know for folks that are traveling, it's hard sometimes to figure out exactly what you can do and where to go. And so this is just a way to give you some ideas of what to do if you want to make this a full trip. Ooh, Stiver's coming with no kids. Fun. There's lots to do. There's lots to do with kids too, though. Well, there's 5 of us on here now, so we'll give it a few more minutes and see. I know Ben and Andrea mentioned it on their live stream Friday night, so we'll see if anybody comes in to hear any of these suggestions. Kira, I see you said nobody wants to watch them. I told you they were welcome if you wanted to come here with them. My daughter would have loved to play with them. I would say my son would, but he's too involved with his video games and he has a buddy over right now. So, Kara's keep. I put up my first ever videos, but they came out sideways. I have done that. If you don't hold your camera the right way, it'll flip it on you. And so there's been a couple times I've been out in the garden like filming stuff, and I've just been rocking and rolling and thinking, man, this is going to be a good video. And I get inside to edit it, and I'm like, oh, are you kidding? So I've done that. Kira is saying with Stevens Junior Nature Center, yes, it is amazing. So if you come with kids and you want to go into Little Rock, it's awesome. Arkansas has several really good nature centers sprinkled around the state, but the one in downtown Little Rock is fun. They literally bathed in mud at Jess and Mice. Oh no, that's funny. Oh, but I bet they had a blast running around out there. When we went out to Jess and Maya's, it was dark. We got there; it was a later evening thing, so we didn't really get to go and walk around the garden and explore it. But my son had a blast running around with all her boys. So anytime there's a house full of boys, he's all in, ready to go. So he had a blast running around out there. Oh, hey, Another World! I just saw you. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kara, I just edit with iMovie. It's simple for me because and I'm not yet interested in doing these like crazy cinematic, like looks like a movie crew came in and made the video. And those people that do that, those videos are beautiful and they're awesome. Um, I'm just not there yet. I'm not at that level, and I don't have the time commitment for it. So I just use iMovie. It's quick, it's simple, and I can just throw it together, make sure it sounds good, and get it out there. So I'm liking it thus far. I mean, I could see though, if my channel took off and grew, or I wanted to put more into it, I would need to get a little something better. Hey, Heaven's Gates, how are y'all? Garden for Cheap, welcome, welcome. So, probably going to give it just a couple more minutes to see if anybody else is interested in this information. And if not, then we'll just jump in, and the 5 or 6 of us will have a good time chatting for a little bit. One thing I did want to say, if you are coming to the Shindig, on Ben and Andrea's live chat Friday night at VW Family Farms, I agreed to do door prizes at the Shindig. So if you are a YouTuber that has merchandise, or maybe you just want to throw something into the door prize pot, let me know, bring it with you, and I will have a table set up to collect door prizes at the Shindig, and we'll be giving out tickets. Sherry over at Two Family Homestead is bringing the tickets. So we'll be passing out tickets as you enter, and then randomly calling ticket numbers all day long for door prizes. So that should be fun. So you can get in on that. Awesome, Stivers. That'd be fun. Yeah, I'm throwing together a few things myself. So I don't have any branded merchandise yet, just because that's a little more big time than me. So we'll see. I might just have a basket full of goodies. You never know. Kara, I see you say you just use the YouTube record button. Yeah, I do record on my phone. I mean, we have a nicer camera, and we have actually a video camera as well. I just find it is so much easier to use my iPhone, and then I just plug that iPhone clips right into iMovie. So I've never recorded straight on YouTube. I'm assuming that's what that means, what you said. So I've got several things here that we're going to be talking about tonight. There's 4 pages of it. And all of this I've already got loaded into the information. Hey, Twin Cedar, how are you guys? All of this I've got loaded into the information. So as soon as this live chat is done, when you be able to go back in and click on the drop down about the comments and stuff. Sorry, I'm losing my brain tonight. You'll be able to see all of this. And I have went and pulled website addresses, or in some cases it's like a Facebook thing. But there is a clickable link for all of the things I'm going to recommend that you do. I don't have clickable links on the restaurants, but because restaurants are a dime a dozen, right? And these are just some like vague quick references to get you going. But for all of the things that we are going to be talking about that you can go and do and explore and see, I will have their clickable addresses or links in the information under this video once the video is done. So y'all don't have to feel like you have to write everything down. Just enjoy the chat, listen, take notes, whatever you want to do. And then once the live chat's done, you'll be able to get all the information. Ooh, Twin Cedar, that sounds fun. They got new goat fencing, and they've been working to clear that up. I know that Stivers video was great, and I know I commented on your video, guys, but that when you went to touch it and you were like, "Woo!" I was rolling. That was great. It was perfect. All right, it's 6:15, and I promised that we would wrap this up in time for everybody to jump over to the Roots and Refuge live, if you're interested in doing that. So we're just going to jump right in here. If you've just signed on, I said this a second ago, but Kira from that Everyday Kira, she's one of my mods. She's in here. She's gonna be throwing out suggestions and chatting as well. She's from Little Rock area, so she knows a lot of the stuff, and she helped develop this list a little bit with me. And she was supposed to come tonight. We were hoping. Oh, sorry, I just shook the table. My bad. We were hoping to get her here tonight, but that didn't work out. But she's in the live chat, so Give her some love if you haven't ever liked her page yet. And Stivers Homestead's in here. Give them some love too. But we're going to start off right here talking about Little Rock. So there's a lot of stuff to do in the Little Rock area. Little Rock to Searcy is about, what is it, Carrie? What do you think? Like an hour away? I mean, it's not bad at all. I would say about an hour. Highway 67 167 goes directly from Little Rock straight up to Searcy, where the Shindig is. But Little Rock has a lot of stuff. If you're into history, cultural things, if you have kids that you want to see things, homeschooled kids, if you want to bring them and make this an educational, like field trip thing for them, there is so much to do in Little Rock. And so some of the things that we put on this list here are really going to be good for that. Now, yeah, I'm just going to jump right in. We'll talk about a few things as we go. So the first thing on the list that I'm going to talk about is the Arkansas Heritage Museum. This is a really neat museum dedicated to the heritage and culture of Arkansas. And so the main portion of the museum is free, where you can go through the galleries. If you're into pocket knives, they have a whole gallery room of knives, pocket knives, and all that stuff. It's a really neat exhibit. It talks about how basically they became to be, why they're so popular. Really cool. And they have some other stuff in there as well. And then kind of their big claim to fame is they have a portion of the museum which does cost to get in, but it's only $2.50 to get in. Is historic uh, homes that have been saved from around the city and moved to the museum. The museum is right in the middle of downtown, and they have a collection of 1800s homes, like they're pioneer homes. So these were the homes that the settlers came up the river and they made here in Little Rock. And there's 6 or 7 of them. There's a working blacksmith shop. There's all sorts of stuff there. And then the one of the oldest log cabins in the state that they saved is on site there. And they have a full working homestead replica from the 1800s there on property. There's a log cabin, a blacksmith shop. They have gardens there, vegetable gardens, and everything is done with heirloom varieties and traditional means. So it's a really neat thing to go see if you want to pay the $250 to see that portion. But if you just want to go see the regular galleries, that portion is free. So that made the list. The second thing is the Old State House Museum. If you are into history, this is a really neat one. Again, it's right downtown, and it is the Old State House, the original Capitol building for Arkansas. It is the oldest surviving Capitol building west of the Mississippi River. During the Civil War, as most of you know, Capitol buildings, state houses were the targets of destruction. Okay? The Little Rock Capitol building, the Arkansas Capitol building, was spared from that. So it is the oldest, like I said, from the west side of the Mississippi River. We have the oldest Capitol building. It is not the current Capitol building. The state built a new Capitol building later on. So this one is now a museum, but you can go in and see, and it is a free entry museum, which right now their main exhibit is quilts. So if you are a quilter, ladies, or I guess guys too, but ladies, if you're a quilter and you want to see some amazing pioneer quilts, turn of the century quilts, they have quilts made by slaves back in the day. They have everything in there. There are over 250 quilts on display in the museum, and they rotate them through because they don't have the space to put them all out at one time. So they rotate them through, and they have videos, and it's really neat to go see that. But again, just the history of it, to see that old state house, really cool. The next thing on my list, and I'm completely ignoring the comments at this point, guys. Sorry about that. I'm going to try to do better to look at them. But if you have anything, just try to put it in all caps, and I will try to catch it. Okay. And Kira from Everyday Kira can help answer stuff too. The next thing on my list for Little Rock was Central High School and the Civil Rights Museum. So if you are into history, if you are into civil rights, you know that the very first integrated school in the country was right here in Little Rock, Arkansas at Central High School. It is still a functioning high school today. It's a beautiful building. And they have a civil rights museum there across the street in an old gas station that they've restored. And you go to the gas station, you get a tour guide, and they actually walk you around into the school twice a day. They do tours twice a day. You can go in, and this is another free tour, guys. So you can go and do this. You can see kind of what when they tell you about everything that happened, why it played out. They have information on the Little Rock Nine, which were the 9 original students who went into Central High School to segregate it. So it's a really neat museum, very moving, especially if you're into civil rights. It's great and free, so that's good. But with that one, you do have to make reservations, which is why I wanted to do this live stream a couple weeks out, because a few of these things do require reservations. So if you're interested in Central High School, you'll need to get on their website and make reservations, because since they only do tours twice a day and it is a functioning school, they're limited to how many people can go on each tour. So you have to get a reservation. The next thing on the list is the Museum of Discovery. This is a children's science museum in downtown. The cost is $10 per adult or $8 for child. But it's really neat. If you've ever been to a children's museum or a science museum before, this is a really neat one. This one was made famous because their head scientist, gadgety guy, does late night TV shows. And the one he does right now is slipping my mind. The Late Show, I think he does the Late Show. So, but Kira or somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But if you ever watch the Late Show or something on TV, and you see the science guy come in, he does the experiments where they mix the chemicals together and foam explodes out. The guy that does that is the guy at the Little Rock Museum of Discovery. So that's cool. One of the things they have in there right now, which is neat that my kids love, is they have a jungle gym and slide thing completely made out of duct tape. Thousands of rolls of duct tape went into, or packing tape went into this thing, and the kids can climb in it and play on it, and it supports their weight, and it's cool. It's really neat. So if you're into that thing, if you're bringing kids, go see the Museum of Discovery downtown. All right, the next one on my list, and I know I'm going through this kind of fast. So let me take a minute to look, see if there's anything going on in chat. Oh, hey, Fishes and Loaves. How are you guys? Harvesting the Bounty. Welcome. Geeky Gardens. That's awesome. Welcome, welcome. Duct tape is the universal solvent. Yes. All right. So the next one on my list, which I personally love this place. If you've never heard of it, it is Heifer International. So if you've ever heard of Heifer International, you know how cool this is. But Heifer International's corporate offices and grounds are right here in Little Rock. And their mission is to end hunger and poverty worldwide by teaching homesteading, farming, and green living. These are the people that literally take homesteading and farming and green living practices, and they teach it to people all across the world who are struggling to find food and struggling to feed their families. A lot of people know Heifer International because one of the big things they do is instead of giving money to people, they give livestock and water to people. So you can go on Heifer International's website, and if you want to donate a cow to a farmer in Ethiopia, you can do that. And Heifer International is going to take him this milk cow, and they're going to show him how to milk it, how to care for it, and then how to use that milk to not only provide milk for his family, but sell the extra milk, make butter, do all this stuff to then in turn support his local economy, and again bring money into his household. It's crazy awesome. If you've never looked up Heifer International, please do. They so Oh, cool. One of the great things about this is they actually have a education center, which is completely free in the first floor of their complex. And they have animals on site right in the middle, right here at the city. There's animals on site, there's gardens on site. And inside their educational thing, they have like African hut villages set up, like a mock hut village set up, or an Asian bamboo house set up. And you and your kids can go in and actually see how people from around the world live, and see how teaching these people homesteading skills and gardening skills can better their lives and better the world we live in. I'm going to stop there. It's awesome. I love it. So check out Heifer if you're coming to Little Rock. Right next to Heifer, and again, this is not me endorsing. This is not a political forum, okay? But it's here. A lot of people find it cool. The Clinton Presidential Library is in Little Rock. If you're not a fan, that's cool. I don't need to hear about it in comments, but it's there. It's neat. If you've never been into a presidential library, it really holds everything from his presidency. They all do. So whatever president library you go to, they're all the same. So every paper he signed, every law that was done, every note he wrote, everything. It's all there. It's all on display. It's a really cool museum just to walk through and see kind of our country's history during that period of time where he was the president. So again, regardless of your political views, it's a fun library. It is $10 per adult, but they do have discounts for military, and there's kids and all that stuff. All right, so we'll leave that one there, but I did want to mention it because it is fun. All right, the next one is actually in North Little Rock, but if you're not familiar with Arkansas, so Little Rock is on one side of the river, North Little Rock is on the other side of the river, and the river runs right down the middle, right? So it's called the Little Rock, North Little Rock metro area. So the next one is actually in the North Little Rock side, but it's called the Old Mill. And if any of you are movie buffs, and if you've ever seen the movie Gone with the Wind, okay, if you've seen Gone with the Wind, you'll know during the first 2 to 3 minutes, the opening credits of the movie, they show a mill, an old mill. That's right here in North Little Rock. And it is a garden. It's a little botanical garden. They've got little waterfalls and creeks and little bridges that the kids can climb over, and you can actually go into the mill and see how this mill was set up. It's really neat. It's totally free, and it's a fun little garden to walk through. And then you can say you've been to the mill at Gone with the Wind. The next thing on my list is a park. Now, Arkansas is the natural state, and we earn that title. There is so much to do across the state of Arkansas, between National Forest Service land, uh, state park land, National Park Service land, and then city and county parks, and then wildlife management areas. There are thousands upon thousands of acres for you to explore. There are hiking trails, biking trails, all sorts of stuff. Um, it's crazy all the stuff you can do. One of the big ones in the Little Rock area is Pinnacle Mountain. And so I threw this on the list in case anybody is a hiker or wants to do a little adventure. Pinnacle Mountain is fun. It's completely free. It is a state park, and you can climb all the way to the top of the mountain. I will tell you, if you're going to try it with small kids, there is a boulder field you have to cross over, which makes it a little challenging, but it's not a bad climb, and you get an amazing view and can see all around. The next park I'm going to talk about is the Toltec Mounds Native American State Park. This is a really neat one if you're into Native American history. Again, this would be great for if you're bringing kids with you and want to do an educational thing. This is the original Native Americans in this area were mound builders. And so some of their mounds have survived throughout the ages here. It's a thousand wonders that the farmers didn't, because a lot of them they've got marked out there. There's like 6 or 7 mounds left out there. There used to be hundreds, and farmers took them all down when they were trying to farm, back in the day. So there's still some out there. It's a real neat experience. Archaeologists have gone out and marked out the old city. It was a city. It was a Native American mound city. So there was like a Native American chief up on the highest mound, and then other people lived. I can't even explain. It's great. It's a quick drive. Really neat to see. They have a little museum and history center there for the State Park Service that you can go in and explore completely free. Really neat. Every trail there is paved, so they're easily accessible to anybody. The next one on the list is the Arkansas Arts Center. So if you're into art, this is a good one. It's right in the downtown area, completely free except for shows. So they do have a theater there at the Arts Center. And so if you want to see a show, they've got their lineup on their website, but the shows do cost money. But other than that, to go into the art galleries and the sculpture galleries and all that stuff, completely free. So if you're into that thing, check out the Art Center. All right, and here's the next one on my list. Now, this one is a big one. If you are into gardening or chickens, then you have probably heard of P. Allen Smith. Many people don't realize this, but P. Allen Smith is from right here in Little Rock, and his farm, Moss Mountain Farm, is in Roland, right on the outside of Little Rock. So it's a little further away from Searcy than Little Rock is, but it's still within distance. He has a amazing farm and property out there. He is nationally known for his heritage poultry. He has saved many chicken species that were on the verge of going out of extinction, basically. And he is a huge advocate. So if you are into chickens, ducks, poultry, gardening, and he has a few other heritage breed animals out there too, but it is an amazing facility to go see. You can tour the house, you can tour the gardens, you can tour the chicken barns. Here's the deal, guys. It's a little pricey. It's $96.75 per person. But that ticket price gets you the full tour with tour guides. They tell you everything, explain everything to you, and it gets you lunch. So if you have ever watched P. Allen Smith in any of his gardening shows, he is nationally syndicated. He's mentioned in gardening magazines and all over the thing. I'm sure most of you have heard of P. Allen Smith. So again, it's $96.75 a person. But the Friday before the Shindig, if you go to his website, he is actually having a special. He does specialized poultry tours. The Friday before the Shindig is one of those. So you will actually get to see a lot more information about his chickens and his heritage breeds for those of you that are interested in that stuff. All right, how we doing, guys? Everybody still on board? We doing good? Hey, Duncan19, how are y'all? If anybody does have a question for me, just do the @horticulturegeek and it'll pop up orange, and then hopefully I'll see it. Hopefully I haven't missed any yet. If you have tried to ask me a question, just go ahead and ask it again, and I will try to answer it for you. And I'm moving fast for those of you that have joined, just because we're getting off of here in time so that everybody can go see Jess and Jeremiah at Roots and Refuge Farm at their live stream. So throw your questions up. Everyday Kira is answering some as well. All right, the next thing on the list is in the north central Arkansas Mountain View area. I do have to tell you, we have mentioned this several times. Like I know VW Family Farms has mentioned it, and it's been mentioned on several live streams, and other YouTubers have talked about. Yes, for P. Allen Smith, it's $96.75 per ticket. Now, if you call and tell them that you have a child coming, it wouldn't surprise me if they cut you a deal, but I don't think they have advertised a kid's price. But they're really nice to deal with, so just call out there. And again, sorry, for those of you that are new that just joined in, everything I'm talking about is going to be in the information section under this video as soon as it's published. So don't feel like you have to write everything down. And I have included websites to all of these things as well. So you can just click right on there and go right to these companies' websites or these places' websites. Um, the Ozark Folk Center. It is an amazing thing. They're closed for the season. So I know that a lot of you have heard about this before on other live streams and other channels. But the Ozark Folk Center, it's awesome. It's a state park dedicated to homesteading. And they've got anything and everything out there homesteading wise. If you ever come back this way, look it up. That's all I'm going to say about it right now because they're closed for the season, and that's sad because it's awesome. But there in Mountain View also is Blanchard Springs Caverns. Sorry, I was looking at comments. Blanchard Springs Caverns. It is an amazing cave system here in Arkansas. It's really neat, and it's completely the main tour is completely handicapped accessible. It's ideal for kids if you're coming with kids. It is in the National Forest Systems lands up there. There's a huge national forest up there. And Blanchard Springs Caves is owned and operated by the U.S. Forestry Service. So it's really neat. They have lots of information to see in their little waiting visitor center area. And then once you buy your ticket, there is a ticket price. I can't tell you the ticket price because you have to call for ticket price because depending on the time of year, the activity in the cave, or the events they have going on, the ticket prices do change. So if you're interested in going on this cave tour, just call them for pricing. So how it works is you go into the visitor center, they have information there that you can see, and then you take an elevator ride down. Gosh, it's like 9 or 10 stories down into the earth. And you come out and you are opened up into one of the biggest caves in the country. It is, guys, it is incredible. At Christmas time, they put a choir down there that sings Christmas carols and songs in the cave. Woo, it's cool. Very cool. The echo and it's awesome. There's active bat colonies in the cave, but you never get near them. You'll see them flying around up in the caverns, but it's completely safe. Don't worry about that. And the trails through the cave are concrete and handrails, so you're on a nice level surfaces all the way through the cave and out the back end. If you're more adventurous caving or spelunking or whatever that's called, they do have some off-track tours that you can pay extra to do, where you can like crawl through little narrow passages, get in the mud, roll around. I've never done that. I stick to the paved trail, and it's awesome. All right. The next thing we're talking about is Heber Springs. Now, I know the Shindig has moved directly into Searcy, but since at first, when it was going to be at Ben and Andrea's farm, everybody was kind of split. Half were staying in Searcy, half were staying in Heber Springs area. And so if anybody still has reservations in Heber Springs and are planning to drive over, or maybe you're in Searcy and just want to drive to Heber Springs, I'm going to talk about some stuff in Heber Springs as well. It is a fantastic little lake town. The lake, Greers Ferry Lake, is huge. It's beautiful. Two fishes and loaves. We'll see ya. Have a good night. So it's worth the drive over there just to see the lake. It's so pretty. But Sugarloaf Mountain is there. Again, it's completely free. You can climb up Sugarloaf Mountain, walk around, explore. That's a neat thing to see. The Ruland Junction Train Museum is in Heber Springs. So if you're into trains, you can do that. It's $5 for adults, $2.50 for kids. The President John F. Kennedy Memorial and Overlook of Greers Ferry Lake Dam is there. That's free. It's literally just an overlook at the dam. That holds significance because that was the last public dedication that JFK did before his assassination. So there's a memorial there for him. I mean, it's not flashy or anything. It's just a statue of him. And there's a nice little pavilion where you can sit and look at over the dam and the water spilling over the dam from the lake. It's really pretty, nice, serene thing. Right now, there's a field there that they have planted up with hundreds of daffodils. So the daffodils are blooming right now. So that's pretty. So you can go look at that if you're wanted. And that's right next door to the JFK campground, which I know a lot of people were going to use originally when the Shindig was at Ben and Andrea's farm. So if anybody's still staying there, this is right next to that. And then obviously Grizz Ferry Lake, which I've mentioned. There's more things to do in Heber Springs than that, but I kept the list short and simple just for purposes, right, of this live stream. All right, the next thing on the list is Hot Springs. Now, this is a drive from Searcy. It's about an hour from Little Rock, so it's going to be about 2 hours from Searcy. But Hot Springs is really cool. And I know Kira's excited about Hot Springs because she loves it too. Um, Hot Springs is famous because it was America's first resort town, and it's actually America's original Sin City. Um, Hot Springs was the Las Vegas of our country before Las Vegas. And what happened is we had a governor back in the day who came in and shut it down, and because it was Sin City. It was terrible. People didn't like it. So the governor came in, shut it all down, cleaned it up, and that's when things started moving to Las Vegas. So if you didn't know that, Sin City used to be right here in Arkansas, in Hot Springs, Arkansas. But there's still a lot of things to do there. There's a lot of beautiful old resort hotels that are there to go. You can walk around and look at. But some of the things to do, family fun wise, the Arkansas Alligator Farm and Petting Zoo is there. So if you're into alligators and petting zoo, it's a little chilly right now, so the alligators probably aren't going to be very active. But they have hundreds and hundreds of alligators there. And you can actually pet them. One of the staff members will get some of the little ones out of the tank and hold it and let the guests pet them. So that's really neat. Excuse me. The National Park Aquarium is there. Oh, sorry. The Alligator Museum is $9 for adults and $7 for kids if you're interested in that. The National Park Aquarium is there. Now, this is not a huge aquarium. Don't get your hopes up that you're going to some amazing aquarium that you would see somewhere, but it's just an aquarium in one of their original downtown buildings. It's a novelty. It's neat. If you're into aquariums and fish, though, it's good. It's $6.25 for adults and $4.50 for kids. The Gangster Museum of America is there. The reason that Hot Springs was Sin City, it was the original Las Vegas, was because all of your big gangsters from Chicago and a few other big cities, this is where they would come to play and resort. And they would use the bathhouses and get in the hot spring natural healing waters and do all sorts of stuff. So there is a museum there dedicated to gangsters, and it talks about Al Capone and all those guys that would come down here and vacation here. So it's really neat to kind of see that history and learn about that stuff. And it's kind of one of those like wax museum things too. So they have like statuary wax museums of these guys. So it's neat to walk through. It's 15 for adults, 6 for kids. And I'm trying to hurry along because we're running out of time. I'm so sorry. The Mid America Science Museum is down there, and this is an awesome science museum. It's bigger than the one in Little Rock. It's awesome because it's the Mid America Science Museum. So if you're into science and kids museums and stuff to do, and I know Kira can talk about it because she's the one who reminded me it was there. It's $10 for adults and $8 for kids. It's a really cool place to go. Hot Springs National Park is the park there that literally the national park wraps the city and the downtown area. And they own several of the downtown buildings now. They preserve them, especially they own most of the original bathhouses. So just like the name of the city says, it is hot springs. People would come from all over the country and world to bathe in the healing waters from Hot Springs, Arkansas. And so there are still 2 bathhouses there today. The national park is free. There's trails and all sorts of stuff you can do. They have visitor centers. They have a history museum there. All that stuff is free. You can go and explore that. There are 2 functioning bathhouses still in Hot Springs. So if you have ever been to have a massage or anything that done, this is an original bathhouse, and the Buck staff still does everything like they did 100 years ago. So you can have a soak bath, you can have a massage, you can get in the healing waters, you can do all that stuff. You'll have to get on to their website to see the details, but they do have a tradition package, which is the historic bathhouse treatment for $82 a person. But that's like a hour plus long deal where you get a massage and a bath and all. It's crazy. So it's a really good deal for what you get, and it's in a historic thing, and the rooms in there are beautiful. They've got stained glass windows in these places that Tiffany did. Like it's crazy. So go check that out if you're interested. The other functioning bathhouse is the Quapaw Bath and Spa. They're a little bit more pricey. Their spa package is $155, but if you're into that, there you go. The Hot Springs Mountain Observation Tower is in Hot Springs. It's what the name says. It's a huge observation tower on top of the mountain. Phenomenal views of the city and of Arkansas and of the national park from up there. And one of the things that's neat about the observation tower is that the Park Service has gone in and done historical mapping all under the windows of the tower. So, like when you're looking out, you can look at this map below you, and it's going to say, okay, this is what this is right now. This is what it was 100 years ago. This is what it was, and it kind of give you like a historical timeline everywhere you look, 360 views in the national park and downtown area. So that's really neat. It is $8 for adults and $4.50 for kids. Lake Catherine and Lake Hamilton are in Hot Springs. They're 2 big lakes. So if you're into boating and fishing, etc., they have marinas there where you can rent boats. You have to get your own pricing, but there are 2 big lakes there. And the last thing that is on the list for Hot Springs is the Garvin Woodland Gardens. So if you're into botanical gardens, this is probably it's the best botanical garden, the biggest and one of the best in the state. And right now is their tulip festival. So just like many places in the country, they've got thousands and thousands of tulips planted here. They're all in bloom right now. So it is $13 for adults and $5 for kids. And their other big claim to fame at Garvin Woodland Gardens is their glass chapel. So they host hundreds of weddings there every single year. If you're into weddings and wedding planning and all that stuff, you probably have seen the Garvin Woodland Gardens glass chapel in magazines before. It's featured all the time. It's beautiful. It's and even though it's like a commercial wedding chapel kind of thing, it is still a very reverent chapel that they have open, that when there's not events going on, you can go in and just sit in the presence of Jesus and see the gardens, and it's amazing. It's so pretty. And you can actually get into the chapel for free. It's on the outside of the gates to get into the botanical garden. So it's worth it for that. All right, so here we go. Searcy. Here's some things to do in Searcy. Now, Searcy's not a big town, but they do have a Pioneer Village, which is a collection of late 19th century buildings, farm equipment, and other items. It's free. It's not very big, but when you're there, if you don't want to drive anywhere else, that's something you can do in Searcy. So look up the Pioneer Village. The other thing in Searcy, which puts them on the map, is Harding University. Harding University is a Church of Christ university. So if anybody in here is Church of Christ, I'm sure you've heard of Harding. But it is a beautiful campus. They put tons of money into their landscaping, and it's just beautiful. And so when you're in Searcy, if you're looking for something to do, go walk around the campus. They have beautiful arbors and porch swings set up all over campus, so you can just sit and relax and enjoy the beauty. It's really nice. All right. Whew, we're almost out of time, guys. So I'm not going to talk about the last thing that I was going to put on the list. Sorry, you can't read this. Is restaurants. If you're going to come to Little Rock, Diners, drive-ins, and dives did come to Little Rock. So you can look that up. But the three restaurants that are there that we wanted to mention are Bruno's Little Italy, The Fold, which is a dumpling restaurant. So if you're into like Chinese dumplings, it's really delicious. And the Root Cafe. The Root Cafe is Little Rock's big farm to table restaurant. We have a couple farm to tables, but the Root is probably the most known one. And it was on Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. So there you go for that. And sir, okay, okay. Sorry, Broussard. Y'all have a good one. Um, the restaurants in Searcy that we want to mention are Tacos for Life. You saw Ben and Andrea go there. There's a Colton's Steakhouse, which is really good. Get the fried pickles. If you're into fried pickles, Colton's fried pickles are the best. Rib Crib Barbecue is a really good barbecue restaurant. Huckleberry's Catfish Buffet is in Searcy. And there's a little cookie place downtown called the Cookie Basket. Searcy has a really cute downtown square. So you can go walk around downtown. There's little shops and little things to do and go in down there. The Cookie Basket is down there. It's great. And then the other big thing for Cersei's restaurants is a food blogger went through and did a big food blog episode about Cersei. And I wanted to mention some of those restaurants to you guys as well. There's Wild Sweet Williams Bakery, Kibo Midnight Oil, the Burrito Day Cafe, Savor and Sip, which is a coffee place, Slater's Alaskan Dumpling Company, and the Filipino Restaurant. I have a link to this blogger's thing on the information below that you can check out. And so there are lots of good food options in Searcy. So if you're coming to the Shindig, you're not going to go hungry. We'll have the food trucks on site Saturday, but Saturday night, Friday, Sunday, whatever you're going to do, there are some really good options there. And on this list that you can go look at, I do have Conway and Heber Springs on there, just because I know Jess talked a bunch about Conway's not too far from the original location. So if anybody is still staying in Conway, I've given you a few options on the list for there. Whew! With that, I'm exhausted, but that's the big list. So, yep, Kira's saying the route is awesome. So does anybody have any questions, or has Kira pretty much been taking care of it? What's going on out there in Chatland? Oh, Kira just made a suggestion. The Wonder House in Conway is also farm to table. Hey, Todd, how are you? Yes, Whole Hog. I see Kira talking about Whole Hog. Whole Hog is our kind of local barbecue chain. They have restaurants all over the place, and they win barbecue awards all over the place. So Whole Hog has good barbecue. Are there antique shops? Oh, Duncan 1900. Yes, yes, yes. We have some amazing antique shops and flea markets. Searcy has some. There are some great ones in Little Rock if you want to drive into Little Rock. But I'm going to tell you, in Keogh, Arkansas, if you just Google Keogh, Keo, Arkansas, Google antique shop in Keogh, because I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Kira, I don't know if you know or not, but it is a nationally known antique shop. These people go all over the world. They have buyers all over the world. So like if somebody's tearing down a castle in Germany or a 200-year-old building in Sweden, they have buyers that go out and get stuff out of these buildings, and they ship it. They put them in big crate shipping containers and ship them over here to this antique store in Keogh. And then they have a huge website that people buy on, and they ship these things all over the country to resell. And you can go to their store in Keogh. It's impressive to walk through it. So, and then Little Rock has antiques and flea markets. So, and you can just antique your whole way from Little Rock to Searcy and back. Yeah, the painted tree is a big one, and the painted tree is actually like 5 minutes from my house. So it's a big flea market. It's more of a bougie, um, Chip and Joanna Gaines, like real fixed up stuff that you would use. And yes, I did use the word bougie. Sorry for whoever caught that. All right, guys. So if anybody wants to jump over to Jess and Jeremiah's live, it's time to do that. I'm not going to shut off just yet. I'm going to give it a few more minutes just in case anybody does have any more questions. But I promised Jess and Jeremiah that we would wrap this up, which we have done. We've gone through the list. So you now have some ideas of stuff to do while you're here. But if you want to jump over to Roots and Refuge Farms Live, please feel free. Okay, Stivers, what does bougie mean? Bougie is an urban term, which means frou-frou, fancy, uppity. You can use it in all sorts of ways, but most commonly it just means kind of like, it's bougie. It's up. Yeah. Hey, Garvin, how are you? Bye, Kira. All right, so Kira's leaving. But does anybody have any questions while we're still here? For those of you that just came in late, I've already run through the list of everything that that we've recommended to do. But it's going to be in the information session. So as soon as I close out this live stream, you can come and click back on it, and everything that we've recommended is going to be in the information section. And I have the websites to all of the places to visit, not restaurants, but the places to visit. I have their websites listed, so you can click right on it. Harvesting the Bounty just posted the definition of bougie. Thank you, Harvesting. I do not grow moringa. Um, I I've heard about it. It sounds phenomenal, but I don't grow it. Does anybody in here grow moringa? Moringa? I know people say it different ways. And for those of you that are still here, I mentioned this earlier, but if you were on VW Family Farms chat Friday night, you probably know that I am now doing the door prizes at the Shindig. So if you are a YouTube channel with content, if you or anybody can do it. But I know some of the YouTube channels have like merchandise, like T-shirts and stuff. But if you want to throw something into the door prize basket at the Shindig, please bring that with you. I will have a table set up. You can donate that, and we're going to be passing out tickets. And so during the day, we'll be calling out ticket numbers, and people can come up and get their door prizes. And it's a good way, if you want to put something into the door prize pot, it's a good way to get your channel shouted out. So, hey, so-and-so has donated this. Go check out their channel, and so come get the prize. All right, so it looks like everybody is logging off. I'm sure Jess and Jeremiah have hit their live stream start button. So at this point, I think it's time to start off. To sign off, I encourage you all to go over to Roots and Refuge and check out their live stream if you weren't already planning to do so. And then other than that, I look forward to meeting all you guys at the Shindig. I hope you can all come. I'll be at the front door collecting door prizes. So sure, garden for cheap. Anything goes. You bring whatever you want to throw in the door prize pot, and we will give it away. All right, guys. With that, I wish you all a wonderful week and happy gardening and whatever you're doing. And we will catch you later and see you at the Shindig. Y'all have a blessed night.